Hello everyone, welcome back to the Kukuli Bushcraft channel. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you how to make this. So this is a ferro rod and it's got a little fancy case. So the case is based off old traditional Sami knife sheaths. Okay, so this is one piece of antler, and what I've done is I've cut the antler here and I've drilled a hole to accept the ferro rod, and then the two pieces sit together. I have actually added a couple of spaces because the antler was a little bit short and the ferro rod a little bit long. But yeah, the other thing that I've done is I've cut a groove with my Dremel around here. You could also use a file, and what that does, the leather shrinks into the groove. You can just about see that there, and that means that it absolutely shouldn't, hopefully, pull off. So another little addition that I've been thinking is you could put a bow drill divot in there. Personally, if I was going to do that, I'd line it with metal of some kind. What I find with Antler is it really does wear down the spindle of your bow drill really quite quickly. It's quite abrasive. Yeah, it's second one of these that I've made. It was something that I came up with a few years ago. I quite like mine, so I thought I'd make another one for third prize of the 1,000 subscribers giveaway. So this is going out to Dragonander, I think he was called. So yeah, this will be in the post to you soon, mate. Let's have a look at where we're up to with this thing. I was going to drill a bit more out of it at work. I didn't get around to that. What I've done, I've added a couple of leather spaces around the top. I've also taken off a bit around the bit that's going to sit in the sheath, just to give you something to get your fingertips on. Right, so there's still a little bit of a gap. The leather will hide that. I'm not too bothered about that. So, right, couple of little tips for people. For one thing, underrated item in bushcraft, fish shears or any kind of strong shears. Great for processing fish, cutting birch bark, cutting leather at a push, and all kinds of little odds and ends. Yeah, also, I'm on a day off. I'm running around the house in my underwear. A little tip for you. As if wool makes you itch, stay the hell out of the Arctic. Wool's good. Wool's good. We like wool. So, I've cut a thin strip of leather. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sew this around here, like so. What I'm using for thread here is dental floss. It's something I often carry in my kits. Well, often being nearly always. It makes a really good fine cordage. Saves you from splitting your paracord down. And I'm not using the stitch marker. I'm eyeballing these stitches. Whether that's a good idea or not remains to be seen. But yeah, it is quite good to do this wet. Makes it a little bit easier. And I'm using the saddle stitch. These needles are far too big. So when you're doing leather work, you can drill the holes. but I prefer to use an awl. It's not actually removing any material, and when the leather shrinks after wet forming, it should make it nice and tight. This is a little Rough Rider camp knife, I think they call it. Nice little tool, really cheap, and the awl on it is excellent. I did do a review of that, as if anyone's interested in looking it up. I think that one's not had too many views, so so I am going to put a spoon in with this prize, which I'm going to go out and carve now. It'd be much better to do it inside because the wood's not going to be frozen that way. But it's such a beautiful day. I can't have a day off on a day like this and be inside. It's just wrong, just wrong. Well, that stitching doesn't look too awful. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a hole around here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this little carabiner. Of course, the more traditional thing to do would be to have a leather dangler going around the front and up through a slit in the back. But I think it's more versatile as if there's a carabiner on there. So let's have a look at what kind of size I'm going to need. Oh, huge! Am I going to be able to get through that leather in one go? Probably not. Well, I can go in from both sides. Right. Okay, so that's done. Could have done with being a bit closer to the stitching, really, maybe. But I'm going to now sew a little bit around the outside of that loop. Of that hole, sorry. I'm going to leave this to dry now and then cut off the excess. I've worked into that groove a little bit with my fingers, so hopefully it'll shrink nice and tight around there. And yeah, I really think, as if you're in lockdown, little leather projects like this, you could make a possibles pouch or a knife sheath, a tinder pouch, and you could even make a knife. You know, there's lots of tutorials on YouTube by me and other people. Okay, so this is finished now and ready to get shipped out to Dago, who won 3rd prize. So there's the sheath, there's the rod. So it sits in both ways. So whichever way round, it won't fall out, and it's stretched quite nicely, so that should be good and secure. Okay, and what I was saying about lockdown and leatherwork projects, it did occur to me my first ever leatherwork project was a sheath for a folding saw, which was very easy to do. To punch the holes, I actually used a hammer and a nail. It worked fine. And yeah, I bet there's a lot of people out there with backhoe Laplanders or silky saws who haven't got a sheath. Yeah, but good thing to be doing with your time, bit of leatherwork. Or make one of these. Well, thank you very much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all again soon for another Googly Bushcraft video. Bye for now.